Yes, boys, we are live and direct with day 9 of the Day Trading Apprenticeship, and today we're going to be going over something that you've all been waiting for, mate. One of the most important steps to the model, the entry. So, going over the entry, right? What we're going to do so I can show you the model unfolding is I'm going to go through an entire setup from the bias, the fake out, the BOS, and then adding in the entry tool, okay? So, let's go over to EU. Okay, I found a day where there's a trade, just so we're not sitting here for ages. We'll first mark out our session times. As we already know, 8 a.m. London Open, 1 p.m. New York Open, and then midnight for Asian Open. Okay, now let's go over and check the bias, which direction we're betting on the market going. So this has not yet closed, but this will close at 10 a.m. So on TradingView, the most recent candle is always open. It's not closed yet. So our bias until 10 a.m. will actually be bearish, okay? So let's unfold it. Let's crank open the charts and let's execute as we would in a normal day of trading the full MEC T&B model. So Asian highs, boom, marked out. Highest point in between Asian session. Let's skip forward and see if it gets taken out. Boom, gets taken out. Sound. Let me crank back. What are we waiting for after the sweep? Anyone know? No? We're waiting for the first bearish candle, which is the confirmation in line with our bias. Okay? First bearish candle forms. So sweep here. First bearish candle there. And if you remember from yesterday's app, get a fib, zoom out, previous plus current session range, low to high. Ooh. A niche rule has cropped up. What do you do when the candle closes within the fake out zone? Because now, if the next candle was to spawn in, it would be immediately in the fake out zone, therefore automatically faking out, which isn't much of a confluence now, is it? Okay? What we do in this case, I want you to grab your box tool here, go to the top of the wick here, and if you were to imagine this candle close, which is the one that made us draw the fake out, as worth 100%. What we are doing is, we are dragging the box just 33% up from the close, just giving enough room for price to print and then tap our new fake out zone, which is now here. So we can delete our fib tool because this fib zone is now invalid, because this manual fake out zone has been activated. We are now waiting for price to tap the bottom of this box. That is our new fake out zone. Not quite. There we go. We eventually tapped in right here, and then we can move Euro USD up to faked. Now, we're waiting for our confirmation to the downside because we're betting on the market going down. But remember, at 10 a.m., that 4-hour candle is going to close. It's hit 10 a.m. Let's recheck the bias. Oh, bias has now changed to bullish because the most recent break of structure in the current moment is bullish. So what will I do? Change this to green, drag this back into open level, because now there's been no setup, because that is now invalid, because the bias is now completely different. So now we're actually betting on the market going up. So let's reassess, mark out the lows. This is the lowest point right here. Asian low. Skip forward until this gets hit. Nothing happens in London session. We'll delete Asian low, and what we'll do, as we cross over into New York, we'll just recheck the bias. This is still the most recent break of structure here. So we're coming in to New York, and we'll mark out the low of London session. As you boys know, if a candle is on the session open vertical line, it belongs to the session to the right. So this would be London session. London low. Boom. We've taken out that London low, and in that same move, that first bullish candle has formed on or after the sweep. In this case, it was on. So we'll circle that there. Price has now swept, and it's created the fake out zone, but it's not faked out yet. Previous plus current session range, if we're bullish starting from the highest point, going to the lowest point. We've now created our fake out zone. That's been tapped straight away. Can you see that there? That bearish candle that came into that. Fake out done. Now BOS. Let's delete this fake out zone so we can progress. Price moves a little bit lower. We'll zoom out. Boom. Price has broken structure right here. Now, what you've been waiting for, the fib tool for the entry. What we are going to do, if we are betting on the market going up, I want you to find the lowest point in current session. This is after the BOS, okay? This is what happens after the BOS. I want you to find the lowest point in current session and drag it to the highest point made after the break of structure. Okay? And what we will do, our limit order is going to be in the Goldilocks zone. The 0.618 is where I usually go. 3 risks to reward. Boom. So we're putting our stop loss at the 1.025 mark, our entry within the 0.5957 to the 0.618, and then our TP is just fixed 3 risks to reward. Okay? Our TP is fixed 3 risks to reward. We do not target levels. Okay, this is absolutely amazing for psychology. Now, if price taps in the zone, we're sound. If price gets it higher without tapping into the zone, we will extend our fib range with the move. What's happened? We'll keep going. We'll then adjust our order. We got tapped in right here. Yeah? We're now entered in the trade. We put limit orders on, so this is automatic. Okay? We're now entered in the trade. What we'll do is we'll back out onto the 15-minute and we'll just see what happened to this trade in terms of win or loss. As you know, we're going to be practicing setting and forgetting. So if in previous models you move to break even, you manage, you pull out early if there's low volume, whatever. We don't do that here because I have the core belief that nobody knows what's going to happen next. Nobody can predict price. So you may as well let the market do what the market wants to do and you just stick with your trade idea. So even though there's low volume here, we don't do fuck all, we just wait. People that move to break even would have been tapped out early and we have just hit TP from an overnight hold because we do hold overnight, just not over the weekend. And we got tapped in for 3 risks to reward. I'm going to go through one more bullish example for you and then I'll get a bearish one. So we've marked out our session times. We'll go onto the 4-hour time frame. We'll find the most recent break of structure. No BOS here. BOS here to the upside. Bullish. If we're bullish, what do? We mark out the previous session low. If a candle is on the vertical line, which session does it belong to? Session to the right. Therefore, we swept lows. We're waiting for that first bullish candle to form because that's in line with bias. Bullish candle forms. We get our fib tool, previous plus current session range, top to bottom if we're betting on the market going up. We've created the fake out zone. Price taps the fake out zone. We're then waiting for a BOS to the upside. BOS to the upside happens. We'll move this up to BOS. Delete the fib zone. Replace the entry fib zone, lowest point in current session, if we're betting on the market going up, to the highest point made after the break of structure. As you can see, we got tapped in right here. So BOS happened right here. We got tapped in with this candle right here. Just about. Now, if you weren't on raw spreads, you probably wouldn't get tapped in here. That's the trade. TP in about 10 minutes. Okay? 15 minutes. Boom, 2 bullish examples. Now I'm going to find a bearish one. Okay, so in this example, I've now found a bearish setup. So the most recent break of structure on the 4-hour was actually a break of structure to the downside. Okay, but this time we're in New York session. So that means our bias is going to be bearish because, well, the most recent break of structure on the 4-hour is to the downside, which means we mark our previous session highs. We wait for those highs to get taken out. Boom, taken out. We'll then replay tool back to when that first bearish candle forms, which initiates us drawing the fake out zone. So reminder, if we're betting on the market going down, we do previous plus current session low to previous plus current session high. Fake out zone is drawn nicely here. Price taps the fake out zone straight away. Right there. We'll move this over to faked. We're now waiting for our break of structure to the downside, which is our confirmation that price is going down. That's happened right here. Boom. We get our fib tool on the highest point in current session because it's bearish to the lowest point made after the break of structure. We got tapped in right here. Our limit order is in the 0.618 on the fib tool. Tapped in right here. stop loss at the 1.025 mark on the fib, and then our TP is fixed 3 risk to reward. And let's see what happened on this trade. And then in this case, it was another win. So now, you've not only had 2 bullish examples, also a bearish one, you've had all the previous sessions with me on the YouTube, so you can see all the other steps, but this was just a video going over the fib tool entry. In the next episode, we're going to be going over some more mental stuff, building up the foundations, building up your back-end system, because the charts is all good, but you don't know the timings, you don't know the news, you don't know the back-end plan, you don't know anything to do with risk. There's a lot more that goes into just trading, okay? It's not just the charts. There's a lot more back-end shit that makes a hell of a difference, okay? And I've been working on loads of back-end systems this year to make sure that you guys can be the most profitable that you can possibly be in the simplest way possible, okay? So, comment if you enjoyed this video. Homework for me today. Now you've got technically the full model, give or take the timings. Backtest for me 10 trades. I want 10 trades using what I've just shown you. 10 trades in the homework channel. My staff will review it. And as I've said, we're giving incentives for everyone who clocks in, okay? Now, if you want to be a part of my VIP trading team, if you're a nerd, don't apply because it is application only. And the whole reason for that is because I've had enough of people that I'm just entertaining for money in the VIP trading team, all right? I don't want your money if you're a nerd, all right? I don't want signal bots. I don't want anyone like that. Apply if you're a grinder, if you're willing to learn and you're willing to grow with us as a team, apply below. Free Discord is also below as well. Peace, love, and unity. I'll see you in the next one.